So my name is James Alston. I'm a person in long-term recovery. And what that means for me is I have not found it necessary to pick up a drink or a drug since February 26, 2014. And welcome to the Planning Workshops, Conventions, and Other Events panel. I'm going to read a description about this panel, if I can find it in the program. All right. Many Oxford House chapters and state associations organize workshops, trainings, state conventions, and other events. These events require advanced planning, and this panel will focus on what needs to be done, what they have found worked and didn't work, what sort of venue to get, budgeting and related issues. They will also discuss what they believe works and what does not work when events are held via Zoom. All the panelists are experienced at organizing such events. So we have our first panelist, Miss Debbie Robinson, is going to talk to us about how to plan conventions. Debbie Robinson is an alumna of Oxford House Pentagon, located in Annandale, Virginia. She resided at Oxford House Pentagon from September 4th, 2007 to September 4th, 2009. During her membership, she served on the chapter level and state association in Virginia. When she left in 2009, she volunteered for Oxford Houses in Virginia for 5 years, helping with houses, chapters, and the state association development. In January 2014, she followed her heart to give back to an organization that helped save her life and became an outreach worker for Virginia. She is now the Virginia Senior Outreach Coordinator. So please help me welcome Debbie Robinson.
Good morning, family. I followed my heart, but I surrendered to the checkbook. All right, my name is Debbie Robinson. I'm a woman in long-term recovery. What that means for me is I've not found a reason to use since February 2nd, 2007. Okay, so I'm going to talk about steps for doing conventions at hotels. As you see, there's a lot to go into it, a lot. But we're just going to go over some of the basics. I know a lot of states do retreats at campsites, and which I love. I think that's great because I grew up camping. But as I got older, I kind of like that mint on the pillow. So I'm going to tell you a little bit kind of what Virginia does. Ours has always been in a hotel. And some of the steps prior to the convention that we deal with is we identify a location where in the state of Virginia we'll be able to hold 300 members. The dates are important because you don't want them to follow, on holidays, things like that. And of course, some rates kind of go up during certain holidays. So we identify if the hotel's large enough, the number of members that we anticipate will be attending. Banquet rooms. As you can see, some rooms, like the women's conference, were packed like sardines yesterday. So you really want to make sure that your banquet rooms are big enough, not just to hold the banquet, but also in Virginia, we do breakout sessions just like this here. Last couple of years, we've kind of kept everybody in a general session, so everybody hears the same thing to share, when they go back to their homes. So make sure those rooms are big enough. Does the hotel offer a variety of food? That's really important, especially for your banquet dinner throughout the day. You have the hospitality suite. What are the restrictions? As Jackson mentioned, we used to bring the food in. A lot of hotels now have stopped that. So look into all of that when you are coming up with the hotel and what the restrictions are. Determine that budget. What's it going to cost? And when you do your budget, we include, like we do the event and the logo theme, cost per person. What we want to do is we make sure that our registration, which covers all your materials. We make sure that your printed materials, we make sure that the hotel room is included, and the t-shirt. We always include a state t-shirt, our convention t-shirt. So when they register, it's like, okay, it's gonna cost one individual $300 for 3 days, whatever it may be. So make sure you kind of include everything in so you're not breaking things out. Makes it so much easier when you're trying to determine your budget. We do a contest. Our shirts are designed by house members or a house member. Last year, I believe it was Willow Woods that, which you can see, it's at our table, that was designed, and they won the contest. That's our logo for and our theme for the convention. And they get like a paid trip to the convention, or, okay, you won $150, whatever it may be. Determine your VIPs and guest speakers' expenses. That's something you want to pay attention to when you do your budget. If you're going to have special speakers fly in from out of town, we always have a speaker from another state come in for our banquet, and along with other members from other states. If they need help, we try to get them there so they can participate in our convention. Fundraising. So in Virginia, we do a little different than a lot of states. It's very hard to get people in Virginia together to do a fundraising event. Everybody kind of scatters everywhere. So what we have come up with that has worked very well for several years is we sell raffle tickets. The Virginia State Association will allocate 20 tickets per bed, per house. And those members can buy those tickets themselves, so $20. And our raffle is $2 $250, $2 $250, and then $3 $500. So that's what they can win by buying 20 tickets for $20. A lot of members will sell them to family members, whoever. They don't have to be present to win, or the members will buy themselves. The houses will pitch in and buy all the tickets. So with 1,280 beds, we raised $25,600, right like that, within a month. And that helped us pay for our hotels, you know, for the banquet rooms and things like that. So that's one way that we have come up to try to figure out how to raise some money, and it works. The chapters houses or members can purchase tickets, as I said, but we do encourage them to go out and sell them. Kind of get the word out there that this is what we're doing. Each house has a $50 door prize. Now, this is in our bylaws, has been voted by the members. This isn't something we're forcing. It's discussed in the state association, and then the chapters and the houses vote on it. So each house would donate $50. Now, we used to do it where the houses would bring a $50 gift, and we were ending up with blank gift cards. So still got some dope fiend behavior going on. So, so we said, no, that's not working. You know, somebody get home and call me. It's like, hey, Debbie, you know, I live in Western Virginia and I got a gift card. It's not worth anything. So the houses started, you know, just stroking the check, whatever, to the chapters, and then the chapters would pay the state association, and we would go out. And this past year, we had over $8,000 worth of money that we could go out and buy gifts, door prizes, and that's what we did. So now that we have our location, our money, we can start with our agenda and our topics. Don't try to plan too many events in one day. I know it's overwhelming sometimes when you come to a convention because you kind of want to get everywhere. I know I did. That's what got me involved. My very first convention was in 2008 in New Orleans. And I was like, this organization's sending drunks and addicts to New Orleans. That was my first convention, and it was great. But I wanted to try to get to everything, and as you see here, we just can't get to everything. So don't try to plan too many events in one day. Keep the topics of the sessions in order. That keeps people involved. Come up with a team building exercise to break up the sessions. We did what is it called, Annie? I don't know. I'm sorry? Yeah, we did like a team building, and they had to build this tower and put this marshmallow on top to see who can make it the tallest. We're very creative. Involve community partners and speakers. That's important. We get, people from our recovery community to come in from, community services boards, treatment centers, just to come share their experience of strength and hope with us. Schedule breaks, as you know, it's very important. It's just getting them back in afterwards. But you want to make sure everybody gets a break. Always allow time for Q&A. And as James said earlier, we'll have, 15 minutes or whatever to do Q&A, which is important. Include fun events. Usually our group will come in on a Friday. It goes from Friday to Saturday. They come in on Friday night. We'll do a talent show, a game night. For the banquet, as we do here for the world, we have the dinner and then we have the raffle and dancing, which breaks the convention up for you and allows you to have some fun. Determine a recovery speaker. As I said earlier, we bring our speakers in from out of state to share their experience, strength, and hope with us. We've had Marty, we've had Dan, people from all over the country, which has been very, very nice. Determine who will receive awards. So we have specific awards that we do. We do the 8th Tradition Award. We do a 9th Tradition Award. Who's a landlord that's really put up with us and struggled with us, especially like through this pandemic, that's really willing to work for us? It's not about the buck. It's about what they're doing for us. So we determine a Landlord of the Year. We have an Al Wise Award, which is our alumni award, who's really participated as an alumni. And then we sit down and we determine as outreach workers who in our region has really given back to the state, to our region. So we sit down and we make a list of members that have really gone above and beyond. Not just chapter officers that are doing their position that they volunteered for or were elected for, whatever it may be, but also for the house members. And throughout my years of being with Oxford House, like you said, I've been involved with Oxford House since I walked through the front door in 2007. And that's what got me going, was the appreciation. I did it because my sponsor told me to get into service work. And, I finally listened to somebody, and I'm here today because of that. But it was the appreciation that they shared at the beginning that kept me going. Okay, I think that's it.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Let's give her another round of applause. By a show of hands, how many of you have helped plan your state convention? Awesome. So there are some committees that you can get involved with planning. So everything that Debbie was talking about is discussed in those committee meetings. So it's really important to get involved. So next panelist, we have Annie Headley, Cleveland. She is going to talk to us about how to plan workshops and/or retreats. They're different. They're the same thing, but different words. Annie Headley is a Washington State outreach worker who started her Oxford House journey in Yakima, Washington, in 2015 at Oxford House Portia Park. As a member, she served and held all the service positions for the local chapter. She accepted a job with Oxford House Incorporated as an outreach worker in 2018 and served the Northwest region of Washington State. While there, she had the honor of traveling to the great states of California and Montana to open up houses. After 2 years with Washington State, she transferred to Virginia to assist with the expansion efforts in the Southwest region that didn't have any houses. She is now back home and resides in Vancouver, Washington, and oversees the Southwest region of Washington State. She's going to talk to us about retreats. Help me welcome Annie.
Put my little timer on. Hello, family. My name is Annie Headley. I'm a woman in long-term recovery. What that means to me is I haven't given myself an excuse or found the need to put any drugs or alcohol in my body since April 23rd of 2015. So we're gonna have some fun, right? We're gonna be talking about workshops and retreats, kind of the differences of it. So I'm gonna share my experience, strength, and hope of a workshop and retreat we do here in Washington State. We haven't had it for a couple of years due to COVID, but we're looking forward to going back to it. So this takes a lot of work. So in Washington State, we actually have committees which is comprised of a lot of alumni and outreach workers. So we have our own bank account. Everything's kind of separate. These retreats, the chapter officers, they pay for. So it's really important to budget and think about how much that's all going to cost. So this is a year-long planning. A lot of times when we're planning for something, after it's done, we immediately begin planning for the following year. Venue is one of the most important things I know for us, because we also do a camp out. We're kind of getting big here in Washington State. So finding places to host us is really a hard thing. So our venue is, we do an environmental learning center. So we're able to have cabins, and I'll show you pictures and things like that. But other things, especially if you're just starting out in your area, church camps, Boy Scout camps, campfire clubs, that might be something you'll need just to start in the beginning. So here's our venue. This is Whidbey Island, Cornet Bay. This is a picture of the little meadow. So we do volleyball. They have set up cornhole. There's cabins that surround the whole outside. There's 2 other buildings that we have for breakout sections, and then we also have a kitchen, so we can do food. It's also really important to find things to do that are around the area. So this place has a lot of hiking trails. You're able to fish if you have a license, because remember, you have to have a license. It's not no license, no limit anymore. You have to find things to do, and it's just a great place to relax. Themes. This is the fun part. This is the most important part. And it's kind of what brought me into Oxford House. I went to my first officer retreat in 2015, and it was a Christmas theme. So I got my big bow, one of the little skirts that you put around a dress, and we had a lot of fun. And we'll be showing more pictures of that. So themes are important. Planning the theme, like I said, after you plan, you're over with the convention, you pick the theme for the next year, because you want to budget. You want to purchase decorations throughout the year. Plan for costumes, plan for food. Always remember to keep it G-rated. That's a big thing. So some of the things we've done is Hawaiian theme. So we've done barbecue pork, different Hawaiian, like kind of luau foods. Then we had 80s themes where everybody got out their leg warmers and jazzercise outfits and neon, big hair, lots of Aquanet for sure. Cowboy theme. We did a doctor and nurses theme, which is not up there. Halloween was just, it was a great one. I'll show some pictures. Pirates themes, and of course Seattle, 12th Man theme. We did have other jerseys. We don't discriminate, but, and then my favorite was the Christmas theme. So here's just some pictures of that. We've got our Stacy Hatfield with the nurses, our 80s themes, Hawaiian, both top and bottom, cowboy theme, and then one of my favorite, that's George Duncan, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I don't know if you've seen the movie. Okay, so about 6 months out, kind of like how Debbie said, we bring in, the powerhouse speakers. So this is Marty Walker. You can notice that big smile. So we usually find someone usually at our staff training in February and invite them out, because our retreat is usually in June, because not a lot of stuff is going on there. It goes from Friday, and then we leave on Sunday. So that's when you want to invite the guest speaker, start planning on what that airfare, what what that hotel costs, all those things, because we invite our speakers out a week before the actual event so that they can come and sightsee, maybe even visit houses and things like that. We have a dance at ours, so finding a DJ, and a lot of times we find local DJs within our houses that are able to commit and do that. So that's what we do about 6 months out. All right, 3 to 4 months out, registrations form. It's really, really important and to be organized. These are some of the registration forms we used. It needs to say what the registration fee is. You need to decide if there's a limit. So if your venue's small, you know, how many people from each chapter can go. You got to choose your teachers at this time, so we rely on alumni members, also state officers. We also do this in June because most of our members get reelected into their new position, so it's a chapter officer planning. And then making sure you're organizing, keeping it in a binder. And as Debbie Robinson always taught me, if you have a problem, there's a spreadsheet for that. Spreadsheets. So these we keep in a binder. You're able to put the member's name, what position they're at. It also talks about dietary needs, and it gives them full instructions. Where is it at? When is it going to be? Who do you need to send your check to? When do you need to get it in by? At this time, we also print the packets, so we make sure the packets for our state are updated if there's any changes, if any information has changes, if any forms have changed, things like that. And then we also buy the folders, the papers, and the pens. So we break them out because we'll do the chair, the vice chair, the HSC, secretary, treasurer. So everybody has a packet and a folder that has what their job description is, because sometimes, when we get elected into that position, the binders might not be so great. So now they can come back and be like, I know my job. Here it is. So planning, making those folders, a lot of copying goes into it. Planning the menu. Again, when you plan the theme, you want to start talking about what kind of food we're going to do. You're also going to want to choose your kitchen staff. We are very lucky to have alumni that come in and volunteer to cook the whole weekend for us, to give back and be able to just visit with family. So we have a couple. We have Leanne in there on the bottom. I think she was there for the cowboy theme. We had beans, hot dogs, things like that. You want to plan so we have Friday nights, we do a dinner, and then we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Saturday, and then a light kind of grab and go on Sunday. So you want to really budget for that, having snacks, making sure there's water, and then create your shopping list. When you got 1 or 2 months to go, this is the information that we send to the chapter. So it's what to bring, what's on a checklist, what not to bring. That's really important. And any pertinent information. So we ask each chapter to send a $75 gift as a raffle prize, and then each member that's an officer, their house sends a gift, so that we have multiple gifts. We don't like gift cards either, but we tend to get some a lot. Doing different things. I know in Virginia we did EES. That was a real popular one. Then we also, the second one is the actual campground. So everything's labeled. We have cabins. People can bring their tents there, and in the registration form, they decide if they're going to be in a cabin or if they're going to be in a tent. So we provide the information on what the whole area looks like. The third one is directions. So we are big here in Washington State. So we have east side, west side. So we try to give directions from wherever you're coming from, what ferry you might have to take, any information for that. Also, there's a welcome letter. It tells you, okay, this chapter, you're going to be in these said cabins. This is when you need to arrive. It gives all the information that you're going to need, and to make sure that you copy directions for everybody that's going to be in your group. All right. Agenda. So it says start sooner than later. So we already have a main agenda, but things change. Teachers change. Things might happen. So that's like one of the last things you want to print out, but you want to have it done. You don't want to over plan too many events. Another thing is evaluation forms. These are important because we want to see how we're doing. We want to make sure that we haven't outgrown the space if we need to look for another space. And also, don't take it personally if somebody doesn't like something you've planned. Usually the biggest complaint is always the food, because there's always somebody that's not going to like it, right? So just remember to embrace and, be in gratitude that, like, hey, we're all coming together as a family and we're having fun. Not everybody's going to like what you're doing, but, constructive feedback is always great. And achievement awards. So we have teachers, we have ones for our guests, and then any members that are outstanding, like in Virginia, the outreach workers decide who they're going to nominate. This is just a copy of ours. Okay, we got 1 week to go. Members start packing. You got to remember your guests as well. So like I said, ours is a camping cabin environment, so you want to make sure that, there's blanket sheets, sleeping bags, plan if they don't bring toiletries, things like that. So you want to have a budget for them. Make sure you have all your office supplies, pieces of paper, because when the members go into the breakout sessions, you want them to actually write notes to take back. So provide the pens, decorations, what your theme is, make sure you have everything to hang it up, packets, awards, raffle tickets. Sightseeing with our guests. So like I said, our guest speakers come in a week before and we show them the great city of Seattle. So some of the things that we do are go to the Space Needle or do the wheel, the Chutney Glass Place. There's all sorts of things to do around here. So we spend some time walking around, going to Pike's Market, the first Starbucks. So these are all things that hopefully you guys get to get out and enjoy. Some more pictures of us. This is my favorite part, the day of the retreat. You get no sleep the night before, because you're thinking, oh, did I pack everything? Is everything fine? What do I need to go pick up? But it's the shopping, right? You've broke down all those lists. You get the group of people that are coming in, and we go to Costco. And as you can see, we're from the front to the back. We just are loading it up. So this is like one of my favorite parts, is getting everything together. And we have fun doing it. It's not like a daunting task. It's like, hey, all these people are coming. We're getting ready. Our guests help us, and so it's pretty amazing. Then we get to the venue site. We gather all the volunteers. We start setting up foods. We organize it for like what's breakfast, what's lunch, what's dinner. So we know how much to put out. And that's when, the setup begins. We start putting up the decorations, making a little registration desks, and then making sure that you have yourself in a cozy area because you're going to be really busy. So put your stuff up. Everything will be fine. And we have a lot of people coming in on Friday nights, so we're up till, 2 in the morning sometimes because people don't get off on Friday. So we want to make sure that, they know where their cabins are. It involves a lot of headlamps and coffee. Yes. Friday night. So Friday night we come in, we check in. There's check-in throughout the night. So we have cabin assignments. We have a dinner. We have raffles throughout all of it. And you always want to save your last raffle prize for Sunday. Then you get the cleanup crew. So you save that big one. Make sure you have a budget and finance meeting. See how we are doing on money for this year. And then our guest speaker shares their experience, strength, and hope. Saturday is when all the breakouts are. Breakfast, general sessions, lunch, free time, and then we plan dinner. So this is just a little bit of our 80s themes. And then we change into the costumes. This is our Friday night event with our DJ. We dance, more raffle prizes, and we even have costume contests. Awards. This is the time where we get to recognize our members or people that have volunteered. Some of the people that we recognize aren't there at these workshops, so it's an opportunity to recognize them so their chapter officers can go back and recognize them as well. Okay, Sunday, that's the breakfast. That's when you turn in your evaluation form. You do the cleanup crew and the last raffle for the big prize. That's when people stick around. And then we've made it a tradition. This picture was taken in, I believe, 2006. And we started getting a charter boat and checking out the orcas, jet boat. So we get to go underneath the bridge. And last but not least, we start planning for next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. She was very thorough in explaining how much work goes into putting on a retreat. So if your state is looking to put on a retreat, make sure to network here and find out some answers to your questions. The next part we're going to talk about is some of the other events. So David McNamara is going to talk about how to plan Oxford House Unity events and the importance of unity in the Oxford House community. David is an outreach worker from the upstate South Carolina. David moved into his first Oxford House in December of 2017. After 3 months, he was elected as the chapter chair and eventually accepted responsibility of state chair. On David's one-year recovery anniversary, he began a new career with Oxford House Incorporated as an outreach worker in Knoxville, Tennessee. He eventually relocated back to South Carolina. The transferable life skills he was able to obtain through Oxford House Living have enabled him to be able to go back to college and travel abroad. David is now an alumni and married his husband in July of 2021. Everyone help me welcome David.
Thank you. My name is David, and I am a person in long-term recovery, and what that means for me is I have not found the need to use drugs or alcohol since December 1st of 2017. So, planning Oxford House Unity events. I believe whenever we are explaining to you how to plan things, or we need to understand why it's important. So, unity creates fun in recovery and Oxford houses. I moved into Oxford House 3 days sober, and my first chapter meeting was like 2 weeks in, and I was elected as a comptroller. And I got to meet my first outreach worker, Lisa Lindano. She made me that comptroller, and then she was like, "Come on, I'll give you a ride to work if you come with me to print some things out." And that was kind of how I started with the Unity. And then the next month, I got elected the treasurer, and I started to meet everybody. And I actually enjoyed going to the chapter meetings. I know I might sound a little crazy. I didn't enjoy the meeting. I'm not going to lie to you and be like, "Ooh, parliamentary procedure, exciting." But I enjoyed the unity that came with it. My chapter at that time was 2 different counties. I didn't have a car, so it was like really great to get out of my small little 1-hour bus route. Unity also adds another layer of accountability to houses. So when a house sits here and doesn't know when you're just going to show up, as a chapter officer, or somebody from another house shows up, they tend to not try to stray off the path or the model. And it's also a way to get fresh and unique solutions to problems in a house. Yeah, I'm sure you've learned here at the convention some different techniques to things. When I was in Knoxville, it was a totally different way of Oxford House. It was still the model, but there were some things that I learned and I brought back with me to South Carolina. And it's been really helpful for us. So it gets you the chance to be able to get other people's perspective on things. Okay, good. Some Unity ideas. This is one I've been wanting to try for a really long time, and I cannot get taken off. I wanted to do it in Knoxville. A murder mystery, like a real-life Clue game. There were 3 houses next to each other in Knoxville that were perfect for it, too. A scavenger hunt. I swear I did not give them the idea for the one during this convention. A movie night. That's actually a really cheap one, and some of these can be used as Unity events / fundraisers. So you can get at Costco, my favorite store, by the way, you can get a projection screen every once in a while for like $100. Have that for the chapter. One of those little projectors. You hook it up to your phone, your laptop, and you can stream movies to it. A game night. Who doesn't like some Monopoly? It can get really competitive. I throw the table around. A Super Bowl party. I put Lake Ocean River Day, so you can see a few of these pictures here. We're at a lake. One of them, I'm tubing with my chapter chair. I do want to put a forewarning. Please don't get lost or like almost die going down rapids. I don't know what the paperwork is for that, but I was freaking out that whole tubing event. I thought I lost a resident. It was bad. Especially since he rode in my car. Bowling. Oh, theme parks. By the way, my husband's probably watching the live stream and is going to murder me for the picture that I put up. But we did a theme park day just recently. I am screaming like that in every picture, in case you couldn't tell. So theme parks are really a good way if there's one close by. Bowling is actually how I started Unity pre-pandemic with my housing services. Do Zoom check-ins. Zoom can be a little chaotic, and I think honestly, whenever it comes to it, maybe a Zoom meeting night or Netflix offers those a watch party, I think it's called. But it'll also help if you have to have a hybrid option or a Zoom meeting in the future, for people to know, mute yourself when you're on Zoom, please, if not speaking. Facebook groups. This creates unity. It's a great way to communicate. Holiday parties. So Halloween party, Christmas party, Secret Santa. If y'all want to do a Secret Santa, I'll let y'all know what I want. I'll text you. So how do you start Unity? Start small. It starts really, really honestly by just making friends in another house. Like I said at that chapter meeting, I enjoyed sitting there and talking to the other residents that were around me and kind of becoming their friends. And then whenever I got a car, I was like, hey, I just want to go hang out with you. Which adds the just swing by and say hello. Making unity happen at chapter and HSC meetings. So I always try to make a point to be like, so do we have any fun ideas? What do y'all have? What can we do? And it was my chapter that came up with the tubing event. They went whitewater rafting. I refused to do that one. Not my... But yeah, it starts out small. There was like 5 people at my first bowling event, and then by the second or third one, I couldn't find the pictures. It was really far back. There were several people there, 10, 15. But for bowling that's being paid for out of chapter, I was glad that it wasn't more. And become that core member. So one reason why I was able to get Unity built up, not just by myself, but was able to help Unity build, was I lived in 9 different Oxford houses before I moved out. So I had a connection with each house, and I would always go by and check on those houses and see how they were doing. And I had friends there, and that involvement, and it's really the residents that make this happen. How to plan an event. So it's kind of I hope I got this word kind of right, but bring it up at an HSC or chapter meeting. Do a little bit of research. So that murder mystery, I just typed in real life clue game, and it's still a bookmark on my computer because we haven't gotten to do it. If you all have one, let me know. Set a budget. So when we set a budget, we set a cap. Hey, we got $500 we can spend on this. Ain't nobody gonna be mad if you only spend $3. But don't go over your cap. Get others to help. You can't plan everything on your own. It becomes very, very stressful. And getting others to help builds unity. Coordinate with your attendees. Especially have a meeting place because you don't want them to get lost when they rode in your car. And distribute any materials. So when we did the theme park day, we actually had the chapter meeting the day before so that I could get the tickets to them. It wasn't a requirement that we all hang out. I was a little upset that we didn't get to get a bigger group photo with that. But we all had a good time. And they want to do it again. That same chapter used to be my struggling chapter, a headache, thorn in my side, and now it's my strongest chapter. And they have had 2 unity events. We did a lake day and had just sat in the lake and talked, and it was very interesting. It was red clay though, so my swimming trunks were ruined. And I think that's all I have, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you, David. Let's give him another round of applause. Unity in Oxford House. I know Oxford House taught me how to have fun again. It really, really did. Are y'all having fun? Yes. Awesome. Some of the ideas he went over in Unity Ideas are good ideas for Friday night events for a retreat or a convention, wouldn't you say? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we are going to go into planning events with community partners by Anthony Lewis. Anthony is the senior outreach coordinator for the small but mighty state of Delaware. He moved back to Oxford House Cool Springs in January 2014 after 3 months of living in that house. Anthony assisted in starting a new chapter and became the chapter HSC chair. Anthony has held almost every position in the chapter and has opened over 20 new Oxford houses in the state of Delaware and 2 houses in western Pennsylvania. Anthony became the part-time outreach worker in June of 2015 and was promoted to full-time in February 2018. He is now an alumni of Oxford House Genesis II in Georgetown, Delaware, where he lived for 4 years until he purchased his first home in June of this year. Help me welcome Anthony.
How's everybody doing this morning? I'm the rowdy one. My name's Anthony. I'm a man in long-term recovery, and what that means to me is I have not found it necessary to pick up a drink or a drug since December 9th of 2012. Yeah. Space War? Arrow. All right. So I'm going to talk to you guys about unity events with community partners, right? And I want to thank everybody that went up before me for the awesome information. One of the most beautiful things for me about living and being part of Oxford House and being an alumni and now working here is that we just feed off each other's energy, right? And we learn from each other just like we do in recovery. So I'm going to try to keep it with one community partner that we work with a lot. I could probably fill this entire screen with other people's logos because like one thing that we do in Delaware really, really well is we network and we support each other, right? So Attack Addiction, it's kind of a household name in the recovery community in Delaware. They are responsible for the Good Samaritan law, which they helped get passed a few years ago, which says that if you are with somebody and they overdose, that if you call the police or the ambulance, that you cannot be charged with anything, because you will be arrested in Delaware before that happened. They provide funding for new residents coming into Oxford houses. They do Narcan distribution and training. They have several halfway houses, and they refer people to Oxford House when they complete their program. So, what are some of the benefits of working with our community partners? Well, when we do events with them, they help us absorb some of the costs. You know, everybody was talking about how expensive it is to throw some of these events, and it can get really expensive for us. So food, venue, supplies, like they help us with that. It helps us get the message of recovery out to a broader range of individuals within the community, right? Bringing all the recovery community together. Different recovery houses, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Celebrate Recovery, Smart Recovery. We get to bridge the gap, right? I don't know about you guys, but the gap between us and the normal people in our community is large sometimes, right? We get a lot of that. We support y'all, but like not in my neighborhood type people in Delaware. So it's really good. It gives us the opportunity to reach a large demographic of resources, treatment providers, funding resources, food pantries. You know, we try to get all these people together in one spot so that we can help as many people as we can. It's not, yes, Oxford House is that spot, right? But like, it's not all about us. My recovery program taught me that it's all of us, not just some of us, right? Supporting others, at the end of the day, what's it do? It helps Oxford House. We get to fill our beds. We get to help our residents find the things that they need to continue in their recovery program. Please excuse me, I'm super duper nervous. I have to read off these papers because if not, we're gonna end this talking about tacos. So, overdose awareness events, right? This is something that we've done for the last few years, except for last year, obviously, because of COVID. You know, it's a very somber event, you know, not the easiest thing for us all to talk about, but just like a harsh reality of our lives, right? We want to make sure that, like, this is an event that's open to everybody. And what we've done over the last few years is we would get the purple balloons and we would let them off. Unfortunately, that is now illegal in the state of Delaware, which I think it's illegal in a lot of places now. So, you know, we've got to keep it by the manual. We're not supposed to be breaking the law, right? Don't want to get anybody put on a contract when they get home. But what we did different this year, which was really cool when I found it on Pinterest, we got these little bags, right? They're kind of like the Chinese lanterns, but they're plastic, and we filled them with sand, and we put those little battery tea lights in them to keep them upright. And as you can see, they glowed. We got the town of Georgetown to change their fountain purple for us, which was really cool. You know, you could put your person's name on there who you were, you know, sending your respects out to, or, you know, put drawings on there or whatever you wanted to do. The biggest thing about this event was everybody was there. We had community partners. We had the police departments from several different areas, EMTs, social services, treatment providers. You know, everybody was there. You know, this is why it's so important to do these type of events with community partners, right? Another event that we like to do is we like to participate in 5Ks. I do not run. I walk at a swift pace. I always finish, but no running. Sponsoring these events sends a message to the other organizations in the area that we are here to help. These are the members of Delaware Chapter 1. That chapter paid for 34 people to participate in this 5K. We try to get everybody an Oxford House of Delaware t-shirt, and several of these people ended up with their pictures in the Cape Gazette, which is like a pretty big thing in southern Delaware. This is what we love to do in Delaware, man. We have a cornhole tournament every single year, right? Everybody loves cornhole, right? So we have these cornhole events. We have one every year. It's annual. We try to have it at a house. And the reason for that is because we like to invite the neighbors. You know, not everybody loves us, but some of them do. And one thing that I like to push with my residents is to, you know, do something nice for your neighbors, man. Make them understand that you're just people trying to do the next right thing. We do raffles, 50-50, lots and lots of food. Once again, we get sponsorships for some of these things. So like for the last 3 years, Attack Addiction has paid for the food for this event. First, second, third place prizes. It's fun for everyone. We try to include the children, the neighbors, anybody in the recovery community, and people's parents. Anybody who wants to come out and support us, we're there to support them as well. Come out, have a great time with us. So at the end of the day, right, working with our community partners, it helps everyone in the community. It helps us help end the stigma against recovering people, addiction, opioid disorder. It helps Oxford House as a whole. We all get to show everybody that we're just like everybody else. We get to invite everybody in. The entire community gets involved. And at the end of the day, we get the wins just like the Eagles did on Monday night. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Anthony. All right. So, planning events with your community. In Arizona, we did a overdose walk. In the members in the central region of Arizona helped sponsored it. They found they reached out to treatment centers and got a resource fair together. And it was really cool to see Oxford House pioneer that. That was what was really awesome. So I definitely think that by getting involved with our community, we can certainly, for some of the costs and stuff that we would have to be raising ourselves. So we're going to be talking about fundraising next, and that is Jordan Link. Jordan is the outreach worker in Western North Carolina. His clean date is April 1st, 2016. Jordan moved into his first Oxford House in September 2016 and immediately got involved in his house and the chapter. November 15th, 2018 is the day he started working for Oxford House Incorporated in the great state of North Carolina. Yeah. Since working with Oxford House Incorporated, he has become a certified recovery coach and a nationally certified peer support specialist. Oxford House and the program of Narcotics Anonymous are the reason he can be here today as a father, a son, a student, a teacher, and a productive member of society. He also believes he would not be here today if it weren't for each and every one of you. Help me welcome Jordan Link.
My name is Jordan Link. I'm a man in long-term recovery. What that means for me is I've not used a minor mood-altering substance since April 1st of 2016. So I am going to be reiterating a lot of points that have already been touched on, but I'm also going to be hitting on a few new things as well. I don't have a lot of bullet points or anything, so just kind of listen as I go. I do have some pictures and some ideas of fundraising events that we've done, and hopefully maybe you can carry those to your area as well. So I was thinking with the word fundraiser, right? What's the first three letters? F-U-N, fun, right? I understand this is not a panel about having fun in recovery. Y'all will be there tomorrow, hopefully, but it's important to realize that we have to have fun. I don't know about y'all, but prior to being here, prior to finding recovery, that fun was not in my vocabulary. Fun was not none of the activities I were doing were fun. And so it's important for us to remember that everything that we do, it should be fun. Are y'all having fun? Okay. So fundraising events. So what is the purpose of a fundraising event? To raise funds, right? And to have fun. So one of the fundraising events that I say we, but really it was one individual that put together, when he found out about the World Convention this year, he came to me and said, my higher power is calling me to put on this fundraiser and to help send folks to the World Convention in Seattle, Washington. So I said, well, what do you need from me? He said, I've got all these ideas, and I just need your support, and hopefully I can get a team of people behind me. And so, fast forward a little bit, he was able to get a few volunteers here and there, but this man, I don't know if he's in here, Brian Irby from Asheville, North Carolina, but he pretty much single-handedly put on a fundraiser for us. So one of the main things when planning a fundraiser is you want to find a venue first, right? So if you're having an actual event, you can have other fundraisers where you don't have to have a venue, such as the raffle tickets and things of that nature. You find a venue and then you make a flyer. So this is the flyer that he made. So there's different places you can do flyers. Vistaprint is the one I believe he used for this. I've used Canva. There's other ideas there for creating a flyer. So this fundraiser that he had the idea for was hosting a clean and sober drag show to help send folks to the World Convention. And so what he did was he went around and spoke to all the local businesses in Asheville. He received donations for raffle prizes, which I'll get to in just a second as well. He received donations for hors d'oeuvres. Folks that provided the hors d'oeuvres offered their time to help, serve those. So we're very fortunate in Asheville to have, and really a lot of areas around the country, to have the recovery we do and the support for recovery we do. We can focus a lot on the folks that don't support us and that have that negative outlook on folks in recovery, but we need to focus on the people that do support us, right? The small victories. And there's a lot of local businesses that supported us throughout this. So here's the flyer. There's the venue. So it's important to have enough space. It's already been talked about. You want to have enough space when hosting these events. You want it to be, proper space for the events. Obviously, this was held at a nightclub, but there were no alcoholic beverages served there on this day. And then again, raffle prizes. So a lot of this stuff, I believe all of this stuff was donated to this fundraiser by local businesses. We had paintings, we had gift cards from places like the Chocolate Lounge, Hand and Stone Massage Spa. There were a lot of different places that contributed to help us raise money to send some of our folks to the World Convention. And there's the man himself, Brian Irby, and a picture of one of the lovely queens that was there that day. So that is that fundraiser, and I wanted to share these ideas with you because, a lot of the things that have already been touched on, those are great ideas as well. Use those, but also think outside the box and remember that, yes, it's good to have a team of people, but if you have an idea, it only takes one person to come up with a great idea to make something happen, So just remember that. It can start with you. So the second fundraising idea I'm going to talk about is our reentry softball tournament in the great state of North Carolina. So as you can see, it's the second annual reentry softball tournament. We had one last year in Greensboro, And basically, we put this event on to raise funds for folks coming out of incarceration. So we have a criminal justice fund in the state of North Carolina, and if folks coming out of prison, we if they stick around and do what they need to do, the state will pay possibly their entry fee in first week if the funds are available. So we hold this fundraiser in order to help those men and women that are still behind those walls. So another great flyer. I'm not going to take credit for this. My fiance actually made this, so I'll give her some credit. So venue for this, obviously softball field. There's your flyer. We all love food, right? There was a long period of time where I didn't eat food, so like I get to recovery, I love food. I'm a food connoisseur. It doesn't matter what it is, right? So here are just some of the pictures. That's yours truly getting 2 whipped cream pies to the face.
What we raised, $200 for you?
Yeah, they paid $100 per pie, 2 cans of whipped cream, all in this great hair of mine. I wasn't very happy about it, but I have a place where I can go shower today, so that was a good thing. So that's another idea of ways to raise money. We had some raffle prizes the chapters contributed that were there. We had Charlotte, Greensboro, and Asheville areas that each had a team. Those chapters in that area contributed, gift cards. I think Asheville donated a TV. They brought, some different things as well to raffle off there. So, and another way we raise money is, sorry if anybody takes this back to y'all state, but pie your outreach worker in the face.
Oh, God.
I got it, so. I couldn't get permission from anybody else to put their picture up there of them getting a pie to the face. So, yes, again, they paid $200 to pie me in the face. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, my.
It was $5 a person to play, so that also helps raise funds. We had food, drinks. There were children. It's a, kid-friendly event. We had cornhole boards set up out there. We don't do it quite as big as Delaware does, but we have cornhole boards as well. And then that's the 3 teams that participated there. And I know many of y'all have seen me walking around with the belt. I can't claim that we won this. Obviously, we're the white team. The orange team there, Greensboro, won, but they let me borrow it for this panel, so, and it looks really cool. So, one of the alumni members that actually played with Greensboro purchased this, and we're just going to kind of pass it around the state as each, hopefully around the country. The idea is that maybe we can get some folks from neighboring states to put some teams together. So if you're in a South Carolina or a Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky's a little ways away, but we welcome all of y'all. I don't care anywhere. If you got a team, let's make it a national reentry softball tournament. Let's do it. So finally, it's already been talked about, but things like this really help build unity, right? Whether you live in an area that has challenges or whether you live in an area that's thriving, and you have an idea, be it small or big, take that to some other chapter officers, take that to your outreach worker, and make it happen. This can help, again, those areas that are really thriving. And it can help those areas that may have some challenges become one of those areas that's really thriving. So I believe that's all I got. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, panelists. Let's give them another round of applause. They did great, right? We've got about 10 minutes for questions and answers, and the breakout session doesn't end until 12:30. So if you're don't leave your chairs just yet, okay? But and respect those that have questions. But if you have any questions, come up to the mic here, and we covered a lot of information, and each of them could be able to explain a little bit more about what they went over. Yeah, there are questions?
Yes, my question is, when it comes to community partnership and the local businesses or the people around you, what's the best way to go about like talking to them about your ideas and what you want to do and really getting them interested in being involved in the first place?
Awesome. Anthony?
So for me, right, and for my area, Oxford House has an amazing reputation, and we kind of use that to play on being able to get these people involved. Just go and introduce yourself, tell them what Oxford House is all about, tell them what you're all about personally, and things come a lot easier than people might think they would.
Any other?
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we didn't have a lot of unity until this past year. So I've been working with that. And one of the things, like the obstacles I'm experiencing is our Narcotics Anonymous community. For some reason, Oxford House kind of has a bad taste in their mouth. I think they think that we're like only about Oxford House and that's it. I'm trying to like make it so like we're like, no, you know, we want to be really, because we're all very grateful for Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous. So I guess like what would you suggest the best way to go about like changing that attitude would be?
Okay. David, you got something for her?
So attend the meetings and have the meeting after the meeting. The more people that go from Oxford House to the meetings shows what it's about. And that meeting after the meeting, you know, really is what makes it to where people see we're not this stuck-up organization. We're not, you know, we're about Oxford House because it saved our lives, as well as NA or AA or whatever fellowship that we follow.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
that
Events with members and sponsors, like,
That's a good idea.
Iron
Yeah, I
Chef.
chair a meeting, so yeah, I'm just like trying not to step on the toes of like making non-NA related announcements. You know what I mean? Yeah,
That's why there's a meeting before the meeting and the meeting after the meeting.
it's a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey y'all, I'm Jackie.
Hi.
I'm from Alabama.
Hi, Jackie.
So I just had a quick question. So we're trying to do all of this stuff, unity and fundraising. We got the unity pretty good, but like the fundraising and the different things like that, like I can't get people involved to help. Like, you know, we just end up doing it all at the last second. So how do you like get people and want to like help you throw fundraisers and do that kind of stuff? I know make it fun, but like what else can I do to get people involved?
Jordan, do you have something?
Yeah, so, you know, throughout the past couple of years, obviously, there's been a lot of complacency amongst folks in recovery and folks in society at large. So apathy is a real thing, and it can sometimes be difficult to get folks involved. But the one thing I'll say, and I wish Brian was up here answering this question, because, you know, what he told me so many times is he said, you know, I don't care if I have help. You know, I'm going to make this happen. This is my higher powers. My higher power is using me as a vessel to make this happen. And right at the end, you know, a week, few days, like people came in and really helped him, you know. So it's not always going to happen like that. But another thing is just you can start small. You know, start with a small event. It doesn't have to be a big event like that with a bunch of raffle prizes and things. Like David gave some great examples of events for unity as well as fundraising that can be done for little to no money. You know, and all it takes is just if you can get a few people there and bring food. Always bring food. That will draw folks there. You know, and then again, if it's an event where the chapter's participating and maybe the chapter can vote to, you know, donate a week of EES to somebody, hand out raffle tickets at the door. That'll get them there too. We like free EES, right?
Thank you, Jordan. No, yeah, you can.
So we have a saying amongst the staff called Tom Sawyering. Make it look fun. If you've ever read Tom Sawyer, where he makes I'm painting this fence. It's so much fun, and he gets everybody else to do it. You know, like I will put a smile on and be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. I am plunging this toilet. Y'all should come and help. and it works though. It works.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Patrice. I'm from Washington, D.C.
Hi, Patrice.
And everybody, thank you all. Your presentations were great. I got some great ideas here. Part of the issue that I've experienced personally is people want to move into Oxford House and they just want to pay their ES, do their chore, and be an officer. These are so many great ideas that we all agreed on, like we're going to get the softball team together and everything.
Awesome.
What can we do besides, what can we do to really, food is a good thing, a good idea. Free food, people will come for free food, but the unity, how do, we want people to step outside and just, use an Oxford House as a place to sleep. And then, what can you suggest we do to say, hey, everybody come out? I mean, spread the word. The more people come out, the better. I mean, what can you suggest we do as a group to get more people like into it? Like, I'm excited about the spades tournament, or I'm going to the field even though I'm not on the softball team to support. Like, what do you suggest we do to get people into it?
Annie, do you have anything?
My biggest thing is leading by example. So a lot of times in my area, like I have different things like dropping off funding checks and stuff to do. So I usually take my new members and I just go with me. And then if there's a new member at that house, I'll just throw them in my car and they go with me. Or, oh, somebody needs to go shopping. Okay, cool. We're going to go buy this house, and this house first. And that's kind of the Tom Soaring thing we do. So biggest thing is leading by example and making it fun. Because a lot of things that we deal with aren't fun, right? But just keeping a smile on your face and going and not stopping. Don't get discouraged. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're all here for a reason. And, you might be that smile that somebody needs that day, and just showing up and being consistent.
I think
Jordan.
Another thing, just really quick, is one thing we try to do is invite, obviously understanding the traditions of the 12-Step Fellowship, not announcing, Oxford House fundraisers in the meeting, but before and after, invite folks, invite your sponsor, invite your sponsees, invite people in your network. And then when those pictures start going up on social media and folks that are living in houses see how much fun y'all are having, then they're going to come. They'll come. Trust me.
We've got about 2 minutes. You can go.
Not necessarily a question. Hey, I'm Freddie. I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. And so, yeah, Jordan's my outreach worker. It's fantastic. That mullet's killing it. But in our Oxford House in general, I know Jordan's mentioned it to me a lot, but what really helped out, especially at that fundraiser too that he was talking about, was that because Oxford House is a nonprofit, we were able to go to different businesses and ask them to donate, because then they can write it off as their taxes as well as a tax write-off. And so I just wanted to mention that. That really helped us out quite a bit.
Good to hit them at the first of the year. First of the year.
They can only then do it at the first.
You go, yeah, you're gonna.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
First of the year.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get yourself on the list.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Do we have any more questions? Oh, we have one? Oh, come on.
Hey, real quick, y'all, I just wanted to say, when you were talking about getting people to unify, when I'm watching people come in the house as like somebody that's been there for a while, I talk to them and I ask them questions right when they get there, and I figure out what they like, and like maybe like I find out 3 guys like music, so we start playing music together. These other groups of guys, they like video games, so we play video games. Whatever it is, sports. So that's really all it is for me, and it changes. It's never the same thing as what I'm saying, because like, do I like sports? Heck no, but don't tell anybody back there, because they think I do. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Panthers, whatever.
Thank you.
So I'm Brandy. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, Chapter 3.
Hello.
I'm actually got a question pertaining. I'm the HSC rep for my house, and our HSC has gotten a subcommittee event group, and I'm part of that. We're having trouble getting with the same page, though. Our HSCC is thinking that it's supposed to be individual, but from my understanding is it's to bring the chapter together as a unit. Any suggestions on how to approach the HSC chair and get him to see.
Talk to Debbie Robinson.
And like some of the ideas I actually liked, especially the murder. I love that idea. One of the ideas I had actually thought of was, you know, they have the Finding Rocks and they're posting pictures. Having Oxford sayings on the rocks and hiding them and doing a page, Facebook page specific for the Oxford rocks. But I'm having trouble getting anyone behind me on that one. And it's free, like pretty much.
Yeah.
Any suggestions?
So I would say go hide some rocks with Oxford sayings on them, like yourself. Maybe start in, you know, the individual houses' yards, and then start with like pictures of yourself being like, oh my God, I found this at Hayden. Look at that. And post it up. Don't just put it on that one Facebook group. Put it in your like Chapter 9 or whatever Facebook group is with all the other houses, and be like, I wonder if there's any other, or maybe be like, I've hidden some things in your yard. What can you find? Like, it'll create that interest.
Okay,
So
thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, the session is over, but I'm sure the panelists would be happy to answer any questions if you come up.